So, welcome everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I am a mom of six, and I have been married to Alex Valero for 7 beautiful years. And we have an amazing guest, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Kendra, and I am a mom of 5 children, and I'm actually a grandmother to one so far. And I've been married for almost 11 years. I'm already counting that 11th year because we're just like months out. So
When's your anniversary?
our anniversary is technically in March, but I guess because we are tracking the 11th year, we celebrated 11 years together in July. So I like that in between space.
That's amazing. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's get right to it.
Let's
So
go.
you and I were actually having a conversation in my kitchen, and we were opening some topics of a discussion that we were like, we really haven't heard about it. I wish I would have known about it myself too. We both are moms of blended families, and we discussed about that, and we also discussed about motherhood in general.
Yes.
Being a Christian mom at that, and raising children.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
which topic do you want to hit first? What do you think?
My heart is the blended family, Elizabeth, because just not enough gets talked about it unless it's incredibly negative. The normal stories are horror stories behind baby mama, baby daddy, stepmama, stepdaddy, Cinderella with an evil stepmama,
Yeah.
those. And that's not always the case. Yeah, I get it. It happens. But where are the glory stories?
Exactly.
Where are the stories of the adults, all the adults around the children that celebrate, that get along, that make it work for the children? Where are those?
I haven't heard of any.
Let's start.
Let's start. Yeah.
All right. So, blended families.
Oh, man. But let's just preface that even whenever you first get married, it's not rainbows and sunshines. Like, it takes work. You have to put in work with
You
a
do.
blended family.
You do.
And you have different personalities that come into play for the children, and also parents from, like, you're married and my husband is one way, I'm another way, and you're coming with different parenting techniques. And at the end of the day, it comes to, of course, how are we going to come together and do what's best for our family, because it's not just his family, my family, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to explain how your dynamic worked, or?
Sure.
Okay.
I do also want to give honor to the families that are whole, because it takes a lot of work to stay that way.
Yes.
I get it. And we honor them and we bless them. And I'm so glad that we do have those whole, healthy families as examples to us, because honestly, even though our blended families will come from brokenness, the fact that we are able to cohesively come together and create something that's not broken, I thank God for our whole family systems that actually helped, the families that actually helped be good examples to those of us that wanted to dare try again.
Yes.
So I want to honor them.
do honor you.
No discord, no dishonor, no disrespect. Like, we love our whole cohesive families. But I'll say for us specifically, I'm just going to be real with you, Elizabeth. I was not interested. I was not interested. I had been through too much, and I will own that I had a little bit of a man-hating streak. And honestly, when James came into my life, I said from the beginning, God knew it was going to take a James McDonald to get into my heart, because I was not interested. But when our family dynamics came together, we actually had two 12-year-olds. Yes, two 12-year-olds, a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 4-month-old.
Oh, wow.
And it's interesting going public with this. I let people just kind of assume what they're going to assume when they meet us. But a lot of people assume that Mason is actually biologically James's, but he's technically not. He is on the birth certificate. That is that man's child. But biologically, he shares DNA with another person that abandoned him from the get-go. So I honor that man for stepping up and taking that child as his. And I can very easily go public with it. This child does know what's going on. He does know the truth about where he comes from and those kinds of things. But he knows James's dad. So that's where we started. And we spent probably the first portion of our relationship 6 hours apart. We weren't even sure really like what we were going to do.
Okay.
And it wasn't much. It wasn't a very long courtship. Like I said, it was about that 6 to 7 months. And then it was like, okay, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Thank God James actually wound up getting a job transfer into the area where I was living from. He moved from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area up to the Amarillo area.
Okay.
And that's kind of where our life started. We did have to do a lot of exchanges. There was, at first, we were doing visitations with his 2 girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came to a point where we realized that then his girls needed us to be more present. And so then we had to do visitations with my children, especially my older son and then my oldest, my daughter. And so it was hard. Lots of tears, lots of time on the road. I can even like feel the tears behind my eyes right now, even thinking about it. It was hard. And we did have to get to a place where the family, the children, all 5 of them, because believe me, they threw all kinds of different challenges at us. And when we were trying to really be balanced for them, there was a need where sometimes we had to really focus on one or really focus on 2, and then sometimes the others would feel neglected or left out. And it was just constantly rotating and keeping the attention on the kids as best as possible to get them matured, grown up through school and into, basically launching them into life. And so now at this point, we've got 3 adult daughters that are doing really well. 1 little baby, and a sophomore and a 6th grader.
Oh my God.
So that's where we are. We've moved into different places. Let's see, we've lived into 5 different places, all in the 11 years together. But we settled finally in just a little town outside of Amarillo. And we've been there. I think we'll be there for a while.
Wow. That is awesome.
All right, your turn.
Mine. Oh, we got 6 now. Ooh, I beat you.
You did beat me.
For me, it was, I don't think I was man-hating, or maybe subconsciously, I think, right? But I met Alex in a very brokenness place in my life.
Yeah.
But he brought so much light. And I've said this many times to those people that do know me. I wanted what he wanted, the relationship with Jesus. I had never seen that type of relationship and that type of commitment and the boldness that came with it. So for me, I was drawn to that. And again, short courtship too. And we did go through, we're talking, we're not talking, he says I chased after him, which we all know that's not true, by the way. But yeah, he had 3 on his side and 2 wives. So he has 2 daughters and 1 son. And then I myself have 2 daughters before we established a relationship. Of course, we have Ray, which is our baby, right? Both of us together. But it was hard. Yeah. We had the youngest, I believe, Juliana was around 4 or 5 years old. And our oldest was around 10, which is which she's now getting ready to be 18. So now we have teenagers, right? But it was hard to bring to bring 2 different dynamics from families, because he was a very traditional Hispanic man, and I was, my mom, I guess, she grew up differently. She's very independent. So I grew up that way as well. And I was the type of, I don't need no man,
Oh, I know.
And now I'm like, no, I need you. I need you, husband.
I need you, I need
yeah.
you, I need you.
So it was very different. But it was hard for me. It was because Juliana was the smallest, right? And then I had Marie on my end. She was the youngest. They were used to being the babies, and that was the hardest part, is that relationship. But now they're like best friends. They're always, if Juliana was around, always together, nonstop.
Yeah.
They just always talk. So it was hard from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the things that I did feel insecure is not having to deal, but like being able to have a relationship with two ex-wives.
Yes.
And for Alex on his end, it was like he was having to deal with my ex, which that was a whole drama,
Yeah.
within its own. We had to go through a court system, and it was just back and forth. So it's
Yeah.
very hard when you're transitioning into that. But one of the things that I spoke to you about that made such a difference for us is that Alex, very well, being the man of the house, right? And I submitted to him as a wife, was that we had structure for our children.
Yes.
And that way, all across the board, they knew that they were going to be treated equally, and they knew what to expect next. Because from me being a mom, one of the things that Alex did harp on from the very beginning, which took a bit for me to understand, I'm not going to lie about that. It was structure and how kids do very well with that when they know what's coming or how things function. Because if we're just living in chaos all day long, which I'm not saying that we shouldn't have, those free flow moments, but that is what helped me on my end as a mom, a stepmom, which I don't even like saying the word stepmom. Like, I don't treat them as stepchildren. To me, people honestly will go to the groceries and they'll ask me, "Are those all your children?" I say, yes. And they'll say, "Wow, you were really busy." I'm like, I just let them think. I let them think that I had all 6 kids.
Yes.
But that's what, for me, that helped me along the way. Yeah. But it was tough. It was tough in the beginning because you're building relationships. I don't know if you did. Did you have any experiences with ex-wives or?
We did.
And how was that for you?
We did. I find it interesting. I want to say the places are probably swapped.
Really?
So
okay.
James actually had to deal with 2. I would say my oldest, Macy's dad, and then my oldest son's his dad. I would say that it wasn't really a whole lot to deal with Macy's dad. Very chill, honestly, very respectful, very honorable. I'm going to give him the props. He's probably been the easiest to work with the whole time through all of the brokenness and through all of this stuff. I will really give it over to him. Even whenever we were preparing to go to Weatherford, it was my heart to do a 50-50. I really, really, really have a heart for the 50-50. It's hard. It's not even something that's recommended in the court system. They will actually fight you on a 50-50 unless both parents are in agreement over it, just because it is such a hard thing to navigate, especially with the distance that we had. And her dad was so chill. Whatever it was, he was probably, because my daughter, whenever we decided to move, she was 14 turning 15, and she was in softball and she had her friends and she was a freshman in high school, and she's like, "My dad's here, I'm not going anywhere." And so I was like, okay, you can make that choice. And she could. We let her make that choice. And so when it came to from her dad's perspective, he was overjoyed that for the first time ever, she was going to be living with him. And so he came from a different perspective of just being in joy, being supportive, and yes, let me take this child so I can, let her go to her school and play softball and all of the things. That was not the case with my son's dad. Even at the risk of them watching this, they were not easy to deal with. The very first summons I honestly they came at me sideways. They came at me sideways and filed when I reached out for help. We were in a 50-50. It was supposed to be from 6 months to 6 months, and I think you might know that setup. I needed some extra time. My mom was sick. My grandfather had just died. He was dying. And I had to go back home for a little bit to help the family. And I didn't want me going back home to mess up my son's schooling, because I would have had to pull him out of the school. We were going to Peaster, Texas at the time, another little tiny town.
Okay.
He was going to school there. I would have had to pull him out of that school, put him in a Dumas school for like a month, and then pull him out of that Dumas school. And then he would have gone to an Amarillo school for his time with his dad. I did not want to do that to him. And because of how Texas law is, if you have a child for more than the 6 months, you can file a petition to get the courts to side with you. And they did. They sure did.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I actually became the non-custodial parent of my oldest son. Tears might come.
Wow.
That was the hardest. Now, on the flip side, I say that's the hardest. With Mason, there was early abandonment. Like, I'm telling you, there's a reason I had some man-hating going on, which I made my own terrible choices. I will own them, okay? I will own my choices. I will answer for them. I have been answering for them. All that to say, we never had to deal with any of that mess. Like, there's just been nothing. And he's almost 12. So on the flip side, where James has actually he was married twice before we came together. And we are both on our third marriage, technically, with one another.
Okay.
But he didn't have any children with his first wife. And his second wife, they were married for quite a long time, but it was an unhappy marriage. Let's just call a spade a spade. It was an unhappy marriage. He tried. He was so loyal to being married. He was really the guy that would have probably been a doormat his whole life. Had another party been able to tolerate him well. But whereas it was outright war in the court system with my son's dad, with his ex-wife, there was such weird manipulation with the children. With that one, it was, let me play nice on the phone with you. Let me play nice in front of you. Let me tell you how much we're going to work together and work this out. And it was the moment we turned away from the conversation, it was a switch. It was a twisting. It was hard with the kids because, the youngest, she was only 9 years old, and she loves her mama. She loves her mama, big time, loyal to her mama. Never wanted to take that away from her. But I could see some legit parental alienation going on towards my husband. And because I am fierce towards him, like God really did use James to rescue my heart. He really did. I'm fiercely protective over him, and he loves his daughters. And when I could see how she was especially using the younger one against him, it was atrocious. And there were even times where I would ask this child, she came over and stayed during the COVID piece. She stayed a couple weeks with us. We were trying. We were doing some like schooling, online schooling and stuff like that. And one day I just happened to be listening to her talk about the phone call she just had with her mom and this and that. And I was like, child, I don't want to call her out. Child, are there ever times where you're really excited because like we've had a great time? Maybe we've like taken y'all to the bowling alley or something. And like it's been a really good weekend. Even me and you got along really good. You and Macy got along really good. And you go back home and you're trying to tell your mom all the cool things that you did with your dad and you did with our family. And have you ever felt like she's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Okay. Or other times when you might be mad at us and I don't know, maybe we're a little strict and whatever. And you come home and you start telling your mom about why you're mad at your dad. And she goes, oh, really? Tell me more. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
That's a very manipulative level of parental alienation that the kids remember. They remember, oh, if I'm excited about something with dad, it's not going to get mom's attention. She don't care about that. But if I come in with some drama, ooh, I got mom's attention. I'm sorry, a 9-year-old's going to pick the drama to share with mom every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time. And that happened. And I got to give it to her 10, 11 years later, 19. Yeah, is she not? I think she might be 20 now. Sorry if I got that age wrong. I have to give this child the props too, because we were having a conversation celebrating her birthday just this last year. And her boyfriend, fiance, not sure what his title is, doesn't matter. Really great kid. He's from a blended family as well. He's got step parents on both sides. And I don't remember which one it was, but he was sharing with us a few things that were going on. It was a little yucky, a little nasty. And I really have a heart for these kids. And after the conversation kind of waned a little bit, I just wanted to make sure that my heart was shared. And so I looked at this one and I was like, hey, listen, if there was ever a time I made things hard or just made you uncomfortable and made you feel like you didn't belong or that anything negative, I'm really sorry for that. I really just want you to know I'm sorry. If there's anything, you can tell me. I'll own it and I'll apologize. And this kid immediately was like, no, Kendra, honestly, you were great. You were great. Honestly, you had to deal with us and like getting all this crap put in our head from our mom. And I about fell out of my chair.
You're like, whoa, I didn't know I was doing that great.
No, didn't realize that. I'm still in the place where I probably have a lot to apologize for. So that's been kind of a small snippet of our dynamics.
Wow. For me, it was slightly a little bit similar, where I was actually served at work with court papers, and he was coming at me full range for full custody for my children. And I had a manager, because I used to work at Sephora, and thankfully she was very caring, very kind. She pulled me to the side and she's like, you're about to get served. Just come over here. She's like, grab the papers. Don't show emotion. Just go and, go to the back if you have to cry. And I did just that, but I didn't realize, what exactly I was getting served until I opened that paperwork and it's like right in your face, like full custody. I'm like, this man didn't even take the kids to school, let alone, do what he had to do. It was very hard and heartbreaking at the fact that, you think you know someone, but you really don't know them until after, it comes to, those type of battles, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've never been the one to like the court system or to take people to court. I've always hated that.
No.
And for me, there's no necessity whenever you can be adults and try to work things out. But, to each their own. That was something for me that was really hard. And I was working part-time. I wasn't making a lot.
Yeah.
And being a single mom, it just gutted me. And I walked through that court system, and he had the money mom provided to be able to get a lawyer for him. I didn't, but because I was a victim of domestic abuse, and I did have proof of that to show for, I was able to go through. It's a program that they have back there in Tulsa.
Thank God, yes.
Where I could apply to get a pro bono attorney, which it was not official, you are going to have one, but I applied, and I remember just praying to God, and I'm like, Lord, I can't, you're going to have to make a way, right?
Yeah.
And luckily I was able, I got a call. I was at work again, and I got a call, and I was relieved.
Yes.
But it was hard because the things that you hear about yourself in those court systems and the accusations that come that are not true, and you're having to sit there and stand and hear. And by that time, I think it lasted about a year, almost 2 years, that custody battle, because it was a lot of back and forth. They try to have you mediate and do all these things and exchange. It's ridiculous, right? To the point where there was clear abuse shown on my daughters, bite marks on them, on their hands, and still they were given back to oh, you guys still have to do the exchange back and forth. By that time, I was already married to Alex. And one of the things that Alex said, I remember leaving the court because I was so frustrated, and I was so upset at the fact, I'm like, why do they keep handing having my girls go back when they don't want to. They're telling their counselors, I do not feel safe. I don't want to. I was really angry.
Yeah.
But Alex Valero, being Alex Valero, we know how he is, right? And he's very authoritative, and stands for what he believes in.
Yes.
But I was able to see a different perspective from him. And he grabbed me by the hand. He's like, Elizabeth, you have to pray for him. You need to pray for him. I said, do what? You want me to do what right now? Like, I couldn't believe what my ears had heard. I was like, clearly I have some earwax in my ears. I need to get them cleaned out. No, but he's like, you pray for him. I said, why am I going to pray for someone that is like doing me dirty?
Yes.
Because I was still a baby Christian back then, and I could not understand why my husband is asking me to pray for the father of my children that's clearly abusing, or in birth certificate, right? Abusing my children, and he was abusive to me. And now I'm having to pray for him and forgive and release that forgiveness. I could not fathom it. But because I was submitted to Alex, I went in the room and I did it in tears, and I'm like, Lord, I'm not going to be, oh, Father, please, like I was like, this is me. I'm going to give you the raw emotions. This is how I feel. But I'm asking you to step in. I forgive him. I release him. But Lord, do whatever work you have to do, because I'm getting tired. It's so draining. I really do think that also that's a biblical perspective of like as to why we should try to settle things with each other first before taking each other to court, because the heaviness of the spiritual, of how the court system, I don't think that's how we should function.
Right.
Because it spiritually was so heavy, so heavy. But thankfully I had Alex to lean on.
Yeah.
And he had my back through those moments, but it's so jarring to get even served with papers like that. It is. And it's hard. But then again, Alex stepped in. I was seeing him function as a father and seeing that perspective, because I came from a blended family, but my blended family was not the healthy. My stepdad was abusive to me.
Yeah.
So I was never able to experience how a relationship was and the closeness and bond. So one of the things that I struggled in the beginning was I loved my children, right? And I loved his children, but being able to show that and express it.
Oh, yes.
And showing that even to my own, because I wasn't necessarily like shown like hugs and, oh, I love you, like just all the time type of thing. So that was very different for me to step into. So I do want to ask you that question. How was that for you? Like the affectionate of,
So I will say I did get lots of affection as a child. I came from a blended family as well. My parents divorced when I was about 4.
Okay.
My mom did remarry, I think, when we were like 6 and 7. So it took a couple of years. But we had a lot of affection. My mom's side of the family was really, really good at affection, really good at hugs and kisses. Now, they'd get really loud and boisterous as well. And I mean, there were times where you couldn't tell if we were fighting or if we were laughing, because we were just loud people and just like to have fun like that. But there was a lot of love, a lot of love in my mom's family. Now, my stepdad, he didn't come from a broken home. He had a cohesive home. Now, his father passed away early, I think when he was in adulthood. I don't really know a whole lot about the details of that story. And he did have a stepdad for a little bit, but this was after he had already left home. But his dad was abusive, very, very physically, emotionally, everything abusive. And whenever my stepdad came into our home as a child, he was not a saved man. He was not a saved man. He got salvation whenever we were teenagers. And you can see that on him today. Today, I don't have my biological dad. I don't have my biological mom. They both passed. And all I have is my stepdad. He's the pappy of the family. That's what we call him. And he deserves that position. He's a good man. And so I do give him honor. And it's not like we were easy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ooh, I will own my rebellion. I will own my sass. So I do give him props. I know that I can get on the phone with him, even if I have to have a hard conversation or an awkward conversation or a fun conversation. He'll answer the phone. He'll answer the phone. We'll talk it out. And one thing I really, really honor him for is even if we don't fully agree on every single thing, he will journey with me till we find an agreeable truth.
Okay.
And so I honor him for that. And so that's where I try to stay with him. And then stepping out into life, yeah, I really wanted to make it work. I really, really, really wanted to make it work. But at the same time, not everybody wants to make it work like you do. And you just kind of have to go with the flow. The dissolving of the marriage and going into custody with Macy's dad was very easy. Again, he was probably the easiest person I've had to deal with, which probably set me up for expectations I shouldn't have had later on in life, but it did. Where the court situation with my son, it did not last long. I was served in May of 2018, and they had a ruling that was official by September. Wow. 6 months later, it was over and done. And I'm sitting here going like, sideswiped, like what just happened?
Wow.
It was rough. Like I remember going into that courtroom hopeful because interestingly enough, you share the slander or like the accusations that came out. There were accusations, but interestingly enough, this judge shut it down. And the way that he shut these things down, I was like, wow, he's going to hear me out. He's going to, no. It was to watch that in court and then to get the ruling I don't have words. It just really took me out. It really took me out. And I have to say, go back to what you were sharing with Alex as far as you have to pray for him. Where James was like, baby, I don't know what to do. Can I get the money? I don't know what to do. Because he was like tracking in his Christianity too. Like when we first got together, no offense to my husband, but like he was not ever trained in anything more than showing up to church and sitting in the pew. Like you stand when you worship, you sit down while they're preaching, shake hands on your way out the door. It's a great week. You showed up.
I'll survive until the next Sunday.
Yeah. And so whenever we reconnected, at this point, I'd been taking a spiritual journey already. I was finding the Spirit, looking into the feast days and all kinds of fun things that we don't have to get into now. But so it was tough. So I'm making these journeys. I'm trying to spend time with my son and go see him. I'm being kicked out of the schools. I cannot enter the school. I am nowhere to be found on any of his medical records anymore. The dentist, like nobody knew I even existed. I had to fight my way in everywhere after this new legal documentation came out. And I can remember, this might make me cry. I show up to the school, and I was probably about 10 minutes early. I was going to go grab him and then go to Dumas, which was about 45 minutes north. I go into that school, and I have my paperwork, and it wasn't good enough. And even 10 minutes early, they were like, no, we can't. We have to actually call his dad and get permission from him. And they called him, and I did not receive the permission to have this boy come out of school early. I went back and sat in my car, rolled up the windows, screamed my head off, cried, bawling, trying to get my proverbial poo together because he will be coming out soon. And I don't want him to see this. I was in the ghetto. Okay, I was in the ghetto. And this big, huge brown jalopy of a vehicle pulls up. And this older, beautiful black woman is blaring some soul gospel. And in that moment, I was like, what do you want me to do? that was the first time I ever heard God tell me, the only way through this is you're going to have to pray and bless them and forgive them the whole way. You will have to bless them and forgive them the whole way. And I did that for 4 years. I held my tongue. I didn't say the things I shouldn't have. I didn't ask for more. I just towed the line for 4 years. And then 2022 came. I asked for the first time for a little bit of extra time, and I got told no. And I lost it. I hadn't lost it like this in 4 years. I lost it. Literally outside in my backyard, screaming. I'll own it. Screaming at the top of my lungs. And I was very angry. And there was this event that I had been invited to, and I was so angry I didn't even want to go. I was actually in bed. It was like literally 5:30 in the evening, and I was just laid out in bed, just scrolling, depressed, sad, feeling sorry for myself. And I had heard the Lord, get up, go to that event. I'm like, there's religious people there, Lord. I am not interested in hanging out with a bunch of religious people. I will hang out with Jesus people. Love my filled with the Spirit Jesus people. Religious people, who God bless them. There's probably another guy. He told me, get up. You're going. This other thing is about to happen. And you need to go. You have to go. I looked up at the time. The event was about to start in about 10 minutes. I was in pajamas. And so let me tell you, when the Lord moves with some like boldness like that, like
you get up.
I got up.
Yeah.
Got up, went to the event. And they began to pray for people. And I was like, oh, wow, yeah, this is great. This is actually, could feel the religion lifting. This is really cool. This is really cool. I watched them in their little signs and wonders and miracles line. And it was happening. Like, people were getting healed left and right. And I was like, okay, this is actually legit. Like, sorry, Lord, I was being all judgy, right? And so I was like, this is real. And it dropped in my spirit. And I was like, I'm going to get them to pray for my situation. I'm going to get my miracle. Maybe my son will be able to come with me. Let's go see what my miracle is. Because I knew that they were giving out miracles, right? I go up to this man and he begins to pray for me. And he's like, what's going on? I told him. And he's like, Lord God, if you'll just be with Kendra and okay, Kendra, this is going to sound really weird, but the Lord is telling me He wants you to bless and forgive these people. Let me tell you, when He said that to me, I was instantly infuriated for 1 second. And then the second, my heart melted, because I knew in that instant, my miracle was that He was still hearing my prayer when I was in rebellion. Because I told Him 3 days ago, I was not doing that. I was not going to do that. I was not going to bless them and forgive them anymore, because it wasn't getting me anywhere. So when that man said that, I just started crying, and I said, will you please pray that for me, because I can't right now. And he did. And I bawled all the way home. And there's a prayer on my website. This story is there. But a prayer came out of this time, because I ran out of language for them. And God told me, what have I been training you to do this whole time? And I was like, you've been training me to write prayers. And he was like, it's time to go home and write. So I went home and I wrote and did all this. By the time I got done, said it a couple times, said it for them, typed it up, did all kinds of stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm done. And the Lord said, no, you're not. He was like, what's going on right now? It was 2:00 in the morning. It was October 31st. And he said, what's going on right now? And I said, there's rituals and children are being hurt right now in my area.
Yeah.
And he said, you got to pray it one more time. Bless and forgive them. They're expecting the weapons of warfare. They're expecting the blood of Jesus. They're expecting this. They're expecting this. they're not expecting releasing prayers of blessings and forgiveness. And I was undone. And so it's such sound advice that when someone is coming against you in the worst ways, against your family, against your heart, like those children have our hearts. And when they're coming against you like that, yeah, there's a time to roar. There's a time to protect. But when God tells you that it's time to bless and forgive and pray for these people, stand on business, girl, because that's the only thing that works. And we do have fruit afterwards. I have one of the best relationships with these people that I've ever had before in my life. And they'll tell you things are great. Kendra's one of the easiest ones to get along with. I wonder why.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but we have fruit today because of the perseverance and whatever God built inside of me from 2018 to 2022, whatever he built inside of me and the foundation, I was able to stand back up and continue to pray and forgive and bless them even today.
Wow. And now that you're just saying that, I just noticed it seems like we were both going through those battles at the same time, because I was around 2018 whenever I got married to Alex, and that's when our full-on custody battle with our girls went. Yeah.
I think it's important to say that when you think you're alone going through these things, there's a good chance your neighbor or your down the street friend is probably walking some of the same things.
And that's why, again, going back to that subject that I always talk about, is that our testimonies do so much for people. Just a conversation, I went through this, and the other person may be receiving it, and they're like, I am going through this exact very moment. And I think that is such a powerful statement to make, to be able to, like, even right now, just as you and I are talking about it, right? There's other parents that are going through just the beginning of a custody battle.
Yes.
Or just the beginning of a blended family. But when you're on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
It's not for us to have glory over our testimony. It's to give it back to God, and he gets all the glory for all of that.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that I always harp on. You can know my past, all the dirty things that I did. I could care less, right? For me, I'll tell you, I lied, I cheated, I did drugs, I did whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I will name it out. But at the end of the day, all glory goes to him, to the Lord, because he pulled me out of there. And he did it with such kindness and love. And when I look back at the people that he placed in there, and how there was, like, even then, you have a village, and I don't think we're meant to walk this walk alone as mothers, as wives. I think that's so important. I feel like the world has removed that aspect of it. Like, you have a baby, and it's suddenly a huge issue in your workplace. It's a huge issue when you go out to the store because you hear a baby crying, or in a restaurant. It's such a big deal. Why don't you keep your babies at home? Why do you have so many kids? It's like frowned upon now.
Yeah, truly.
When children are like, they are a true blessing from the Lord. And scripture says that we're supposed to train them up.
Yes.
And we're what? Send them out.
Yes.
Are we doing that?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I always ask myself. Am I doing that as a mother for my children?
Yeah.
That, to me, I think that's part of the conversation why we're having it right now, is to be able to share our testimonies and how we are from it, because I wish I had another woman to tell me, like, it's hard right now. Releasing that forgiveness is hard right now, right?
Oh my gosh,
To have that wisdom, that true wisdom of a woman that has walked through that. And which is not easy.
Yeah.
Because children are your children.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh man.
The
like,
battle.
Listen, rationale goes out the window when it comes to the kids.
Yeah. And you're like, in my stomach, I birthed you, and you go off for it.
Oh yeah. So,
and it's hard.
It is hard. I really appreciate that too. And especially about, I wish I would have had more people that would have known more about the situation. Did we have some support? We did. We had some people come around and pray for us. But to have somebody to have a conversation with me, it would have been nice, like when I was in my freak out moment, to be like, ah, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It would, absolutely. And not to say that there's not times where the Lord purposely takes you out and removes you from a place.
Very true.
To be hidden, to work with you through certain things, because I've had that happen. And because he's refining me in that fire, and he's letting it and I'm feeling like I want to throw fists and throw hands. And I'm like, Alex, let's go. I'm ready to go. You just got to bail me out,
Yes.
But he's working with you. He meets you where you are.
Yes.
He does. And he doesn't care how much ugly you show. That's what he wants. That's what the Lord says, bring it to me.
Yes.
And he'll work with that.
Yep. I want that broken heart.
Yes.
I want that contrite spirit. They are acceptable.
Yes.
So
you don't have to come to me perfect. All got it together.
No.
Bring me your mess. That's what I want from you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care where I'm at, Lord. I'm at your feet.
Yep.
I'd rather be at your feet every day. With my brokenness, with all my mistakes. But I'd rather be at your feet and know that you're there. And you direct my path. Even when the moments get shaky. Because as a mom, I question myself so much. And that's one of the things, we may look like we all got it all together. Girl, I do TikTok reels and do all these things. You see me with my children, but every day I'm like, am I doing what I need to be doing as a mother, Lord?
Oh, yeah.
Because I am trying to be something that I was not shown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will honestly say I honor that man downstairs, because Lord knows Alex has walked with me through so much pain, and he cares for me. Just yesterday, I felt hurt.
Yeah.
And he came and hugged me, and he's like, I'm so sorry that you feel this way and that others have made you feel this way.
Yeah.
And that means so much, right?
Yes. Yes.
And it's so important to have someone like that in your life, whether it be a woman, an older woman, your mom, your dad, whoever. But for me, thankfully, it's my husband.
Yeah.
And I love that aspect about him, that I know that I can go to him if I can be in the prayer closet all day long, right? But I can be hard-headed too. And Alex is very well, okay, Elizabeth, you're in your feelings right now. Let's get back here, because let's go back to the Bible. This is what the Bible says. This and this and this and this.
Yes.
Why are you walking in fear right now?
Yes.
He's told you, have I not commanded you? Why are you walking like this? Did he tell you to be scared? Did he tell you to be afraid of the court system? Did he tell you to? And it's like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, a village. It doesn't matter how big or small the village is.
Exactly.
It takes
It does.
a village.
It does.
We're not meant to do this alone.
No, we are
Especially not.
No, we are not.
Because it's so hard.
We may have to pause here.
Okay.
I've got to go do a session. Oh, I love you so much.